Welcome to the second episode of the MousekaBros podcast. Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm his brother Randy. Be sure to like us on Facebook at the MousekaBros. We will be releasing new episodes every Friday, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest podcast. On today's episode, we are starting a new series called Love It, Hate It, Update It. In this series, we will discuss topics such as attractions, dining, and other Disney stuff. Today's topic is Magic Kingdom attractions. We will each give 2 Love It's, 2 Hate It's, and 2 Update It's. For the Love It's, they're going to be anything that's in the park that we think needs to kind of just stay how it is, don't really touch it. If there's updates in the future that they're just going to make it better, but pretty much we don't need to touch the Love It's. For the Hate It's, it's going to be completely opposite. It's something that needs to leave the park right now. They need to close it, get rid of it, do something else, not just update it, but completely remove it from the park and put another attraction in there. And then our Update It's are rides that need a little Disney love, need a little Disney magic to help it make it be that better ride that it needs to be. I'm really interested because I think with our Love It's, I think we'll kind of just say why we love it, and then the other one will just kind of agree and just be like, oh yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay. So I'll start. So we're going to start with Love It's. My first Love It is Mickey's PhilharMagic. This is it's a funny show. It's a good family show. The 4D in it's fantastic. It's great animation. It really puts you into the story. I love how it connects a bunch of these characters, how you have the proscenium of the stage that just rises and you just have one giant screen across the entire theater. I just think it's a good show overall.
I am going to have to disagree.
Oh, really?
And,
okay.
Yeah, and only because I know, and you know, you love it, and that's, you know, that's absolutely your opinion. I don't, you know, and I think the reason I don't is because it replaced the Lion King show. If I don't know if you remember that at all.
I actually don't.
But
I'm too young.
I'm almost certain that's where it was. Yeah, they had like the hand puppets, and I'm doing like a hand motion now that you can't see me, but they had the hand puppets that they used to come up from underneath the stage, and it was all Lion King.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that. So
Yeah,
I guess that's why.
Well, all right,
like it,
I'll take it.
Okay, so what's your first Love It?
So my first Love It's going to be Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's a great ride overall, roller coaster. And it's a roller coaster that everybody in the family can ride. And the thing I love most about it, it's a completely different ride from the morning than it is at night. At night, I feel like I'm like, did I just ride this in the morning? Like, there's no way. Like, I lose all sense of where I am on the ride. Like, oh, coming up is a big drop, or no, do I remember that? You know, from riding it in the morning. And I think that's what makes it a great and fun attraction overall. And actually, rumor for it for the 50th anniversary is actually, there's talk about it getting the update that Disneyland in California has. And if you don't know what that is, it uses the goat at the top of the kind of the first hill there, and he has like dynamite in his mouth. And then at the end scene where the rocks are coming down, you're trying to make your way through the tunnel, there's like dynamite, like LED like strips, right, going up it that make it look like, oh my gosh, it's about to explode. And kind of at the end, it kind of does.
Right, I mean, you have like the smoke effect in that.
Right,
tunnel
yeah.
So, right.
If they did bring that to Disney World, I think it would just make the attraction better. You know, I've been on the one in Disneyland, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really wish they would bring that to Magic Kingdom, because it would fit right in.
Right. So remember in the beginning how I said that we're going to agree with the Love It's? We're just going to disregard that statement because that's already out. I don't agree with you. I don't think this should be in... I mean, again, this is completely your opinion. I don't think it should be in the Love It category. Let's call it what it is. A runaway mine train. That's not unique ride. They have that all throughout amusement parks through the entire world. That's what it is. It's a runaway mine train.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the atmosphere, right? You're in like a desert, going through shafts, going in and out. You do have kind of the couple different scenes with the rocks. Then you're in the bat caves and stuff. It's a runaway mine train. It's a roller coaster. It's good, but I mean, even you said they have that rumor that they're gonna bring from Disneyland and kind of replace it. To me, that would go under the updated category. It's just not. I love it because
I don't think it would need that update. If they bring it to the Big Thunder and Magic Kingdom, awesome. If not, I still enjoy it every time I go to the park, and it's one of those rides that I have to ride. It's one of the fast passes I look for when booking fast passes.
No, I completely agree. I mean, because sometimes, depending on the day, that line can be ridiculous long. Even with having the dual loading station, that can be a crazy long line. So like it is worth a fast pass. I will give you that. But I don't know if it goes in the love it category because it's a runaway mine train. That's not unique. When I go to Disney, I want the rides to be special. I want them to be completely different, something I've never seen before. That just as soon as I ride it, I'm like, wow.
Have you ever been on a runaway rail train?
Somewhere else, I'm sure I have. The Six Flags can do it just as good, I'm sure.
But you're not in Magic Kingdom when you ride it.
No, I get it. I know it's Disney. And like I know there's still some sort of story with it, right? They still have this story and it still puts you in the ride. I don't know. It's just, to me, doesn't go in the love it category. It definitely would not touch the hate it category. I don't think it could ever touch the hate it category for me.
No.
But it's just not in the love it category.
All right. Well, what do you have for your next one?
My next one is the Enchanted Tales with Belle. I know that's kind of a random one, especially since I'm a grown man, 22, with a beard and no kids. But it just has so much Disney magic in it. And what I mean by that is, if you ever ride it, first you're in her father's workshop, and they have that special mirror. And then all of a sudden, the mirror is projected onto the wall, and the wall starts moving, and it becomes a big door. And the first time you ride it, you're like, whoa, what is happening in front of me? Like, I am actually witnessing this. And you're like, oh, okay, it's just some sort of projection that they're doing. And then you walk through the door, and then you're in the castle, and it's...
Yeah, no, that blew my mind.
Yeah,
it's
the
first time I saw it, I was like,
insane.
Wait a minute, what? We're walking through that now?
Right. I was like, oh, okay, this is like a cool show. Like, it puts you in, and then it starts moving, and you're just like, what?
Right.
And then you get to the wardrobe, and, she's talking and stuff, and she's an awesome animatronic. She's absolutely looks fantastic. And it's like, oh, okay, she's like, gonna, talk a little bit about what we're doing here and stuff. And then the cast member actually goes in and opens the wardrobe and grabs the props for the play. And it's just like, oh my God, this is Madame
Maury?
Yeah, Maury. I don't know what her name is. I'm not French, but it's fine. But it's you look at her and you say, oh my gosh, this is her. This is real. This is the character literally brought to life. And then you go into the next room and you have Lumiere, who is moving and talking and lighting his candles like Lumiere was. To the fact that you look at him and you say, I don't know if this is a computer or if he's actually real. And to do something like that, to make that, just blows my mind. I think it just has so much Disney magic. I mean, it's a fun show for the kids because they get to meet Belle, they get to like play the story. But the first time we did it, me and you, we both got picked for guards. Right? And it was funny because, we're both 20-year-olds with beards getting
what am
picked.
I doing?
Right. We were like, what are you doing? And then the story starts and you're a guard and you have the Disney characters all there and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually part of this story. And like, I know it's not something that, if you're doing a rope drop, you're not running to Enchanted Tales with Belle. Like that's not your first thing of the day. And I understand that. But it's one of those rides where it's like, oh, it doesn't have a long wait, or hey, we need an extra fast pass. We used our 3 original fast passes, and there's one for Enchanted Tales with Belle. Let's just do it. You got to at least do it once, and it's still captivating every time we do it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a show, and at the end of it, you get to meet Belle. So it's a very interesting, concept to have a show and then meet, the character Belle right after.
Yeah, there's not a show that's like that. Because if there's like a musical, then they just go off stage and like you don't get to see them or something.
Right. I mean, could you imagine if they did that for all the princesses?
Like, oh my God. Nick,
If
just
they had
like
a
all the
story for
shows,
all of them?
like if they had Mickey's like fun fair, right? They finish the show and then they all come down in their costumes and you meet them. Oh man. It's just such a unique idea, and it's just so cool.
And I think anytime they do that too, it's kind of like meeting Mickey in his house in Mickey's Toontown.
Toontown.
Way back in the day, and Disneyland, you can still meet him there. It uses all that story building that they use, and then you actually get to see it. Right.
It's
awesome.
I mean, it all kind of started with Turtle Talk with Crush, right? Because they had this screen and Crush came in and you see the little kids that are talking to him and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And they're doing jokes and you're laughing. But in the back of your mind, you're like, I'm actually talking to this character now.
I'm listening to Crush.
Right. Like I am talking to Crush, and it's just completely unbelievable that they can do that and trick my mind even when I'm 22.
Yeah. So my next love it is going to be Peter Pan's Flight.
Oh man.
And the reason I love it is because it's one of those classic Disney attractions. It could use a little TLC, but right now the way it is, I absolutely love it no matter what, and I have to do it every single time if I can get a fast pass. Or especially because I really don't want to wait 50. Gosh, I've seen anywhere 50 minutes all the way to 90 minutes, just for this ride, which is crazy, to think about. And now especially, even if you don't get a fast pass for it and you have to wait, you can rope drop it. If you get it at 30 minutes, just wait. 50 to 90, maybe check back later. But if you get a chance to go through the queue, they actually redid it, I think maybe 2 years ago. Don't quote me on that. But you walk through the bedrooms of the kids, and it's completely interactive, or not really interactive, but there's you see Tinkerbell kind of fly or over here and then over there. So it's cool to do that, but you completely miss that if you do Fast Pass for it. But if you can get a Fast Pass, because the wait can be long, the Fast Pass to me is golden. It's one of the first ones I look for right after Big Thunder, or even before Big Thunder. If I see it, I grab it. And actually, for that one, a rumor for the 50th is that they're going to update it to the Disneyland kind of effects, which I guess, again, I wouldn't mind it. I love it how it is now. If it got those updates where it's the LED screens that kind of looks like real water, which is awesome. But I just hope they don't touch the city scene when you fly over the city. In Disneyland, it's kind of all flat. The Disney World, you have little dioramas of the buildings, and they're 3-dimensional looking, which is awesome. And especially because it's one of the last remaining few of the classic rides. I mean, they got rid of the Snow White Scary Adventure, Pinocchio.
I don't know if that was in.
I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe I'm thinking of Disneyland right now. But it's the last couple of those attractions that are classic, still in its original show building. I just love it and have to do it every time.
So, I mean, I'm sure I've read somewhere that they redid the queue, but I actually did not remember that they redid the queue. So that's kind of cool, because I know we always do the Fast Pass.
No, exactly, and you completely miss all that.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that, so that's a fun fact. I'm not going to really talk about this too much because I actually have it in my updated category. So I'm not going to give my opinions on it yet. I mean, even though I'm sure you can make a hint of what my opinions are, but I don't want to get too much into it till we get to the updated. So that's the love it. We can go to the hate it's now. I can start again.
Yeah, go ahead.
My first one is the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. I don't like this ride for a couple reasons. It's not unique. right, they have this ride in Magic Kingdom twice and once in Animal Kingdom, right? So they have the Triceratops spin in Animal Kingdom, and then in Magic Kingdom they have Astro Blasters and Dumbo. Dumbo is unique because it's such an icon to the park. Whenever there's like some sort of commercial on TV for Magic Kingdom, it's normally like a parent and their child riding Dumbo laughing, right? So, and it's dual spinnings right next to each other. So like that's really cool. And then like Astro Blaster, you got to take an elevator to get up to it. So you're already off the ground, 30 feet, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you're that much higher.
Right. And then you raise up. So it's, it's
unique.
Pretty cool. But Aladdin's not, right? They already have that ride twice. They don't need it a third time.
No, yeah.
So I just don't like it. I don't think it fits the area. That's another big one. Because you have, right next to it is a jungle, literally Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse and Jungle Cruise. They're both right next to it. So it just doesn't make sense. It seemed like something that we need to put something here. We have Aladdin. Let's just kind of throw that in there. So that I just don't like it. I really would prefer if they just got rid of that and did something else.
So what's funny is that's actually my first hate it.
Oh, is
so
it?
that's and again it goes along that it's redundant. It's already twice in the park, actually 3 times if you count Dumbo as dueling.
right.
So 4 of these in the park, and it doesn't make sense. Absolutely, if they just got rid of it, which it would make so much more walking room in Adventureland, I think they need. They need it
so tight.
They need it
quickly.
And the only, I guess, cool fun fact about that ride is that the 2 golden camels at the attraction are actually from the Aladdin parade back in when Hollywood Studios was called MGM Studios. So that was a while ago.
And then
I
think if I'm not mistaken, which I guarantee you I'm mistaken, they reused those camels in the Hercules parade at Hollywood Studios or something like that. Like they reused the camels again. So those camels actually have a lot of use and a lot of history, which is really cool. So keep them there, but get rid of the ride.
No, get rid of the camels too, because one of them spits water. Okay, it's water, but if you forget about it,
and you're
like
just
I have in the
watching,
past, and you're just like, what was that? Is it raining? Oh no, it's the camels. I forgot about them. I forgot about them.
Right.
Yeah. So that's funny. I mean, and it's funny that we both have it listed. And I think
and
that
of course
speaks
it's number
volumes.
1. Right.
Yeah. I definitely think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
To it. So what do you have for your second hate it then?
My second one is the Tomorrowland Speedway.
Okay.
My biggest thing is I like unique rides. Tomorrowland Speedway is not a unique ride. They have those cars everywhere. We go to Hershey Park and we do those, once because it's right, but it's not unique. It's a simple track compared to Disneyland. It's not a good track at all. Adding an IP to it or any type of story, I don't know if it would work. It worked for Disneyland, but again, because Disneyland has such a unique track that they can, they can actually put stuff around the track. But ours is such a simple track that I just don't think it would work. We do it maybe once when we go there. If there's a really short line and we don't really have anything else, if it's later, we normally go for a week. So if it's later in the week and we've done everything else, we're just like, you want to do Tomorrowland Speedway because it's only a 15-minute wait? So it's not a ride that we use. It also does take up, I don't want to say a lot of land, but it takes up enough land to where if you were to get rid of it, you would have you could put in an attraction that would actually be substantial. So I'm not a fan of it.
Gosh, it's like, I mean, I got you. But, I don't think it's an attraction necessarily. I think they need to get rid of. I think it'll be interesting what the outcome is after Tron's in and how that's incorporated in it. Would it make any difference if the cars were electric? Because I think that is a rumor, if not confirmed, I can't remember, that they were talking about bringing the cars from Tokyo over that were electric. So, of course, there's no gas and all that. Would that change anything? Like if they used a different layout with Tron and...
No, not at all. That wouldn't change anything.
Okay.
It's called Tomorrowland Speedway, and it's not tomorrow. It doesn't fit into the land.
Yeah, I mean, it's cars.
Right. They called it Tomorrowland Speedway because because they didn't have another name for it. That's what I feel. That they were like, oh, this is in Tomorrowland, and it's cars. Let's call it Tomorrowland Speedway. And that guy got a raise, right? And so it doesn't fit into the land, because then right next to it goes right into Fantasyland. So it doesn't fit into Fantasyland, right? Because the cars they're not magical cars. They're not tomorrow cars, because the cars that we have are better than the cars there. I get that they're go-karts, but still, it does not fit into the land. It needs to go.
See, I'd be excited especially if they moved to like the electric cars and like Tesla sponsored it. That would be cool. And if they completely redid it and still kept the concept.
Right. Would it be cool? Absolutely. It would be really cool to do once. After you do it once, it's the exact same ride every single time.
What's the rewriting?
You're not right. What? Right. It doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll leave it at that. So my second one is going to be It's a Small World.
What?
Yeah. What?
Do you send all hate mail to Ryan.
No. Look, it's great. It's an original attraction. It's Walt's one of the, original. The Disneyland one is more original than ours. I mean, it's a massive building, massive. Actually, when I did my college program there, and I had to go change trash cans in the Haunted Mansion, I actually had to walk around it to get to kind of like the backside of Haunted Mansion, and it's a huge building. To compared, like I guess like the small, I mean, it's not really small up front, but it's in the back of it is huge.
It's not a big facade.
It's massive. And actually, it's funny enough, as I was making my notes, I kind of looked at a Google Maps of the building in Disney World and Disneyland, and I'm like, Disney World is like almost double the size of the building.
Oh,
like,
really?
Like, yeah.
Cool.
Like, why is? I mean, yeah, it's cool. I mean, to me, it's just a big box, that of course holds a ride. And I guess they all are, but get rid of it. Yeah. Keep it a boat ride. I'd be okay with that. That would be an easy fix for that. I wouldn't mind if they made it like a Storybook Land canal boat ride, like they have in Disneyland, and if
right, where like it kind of goes through like all of the stories and all of the Disney movies and the towns,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, they're like dioramas of the town, but like they're
like in the word
full,
diorama.
like full. I do.
Second,
I like dioramas.
Isn't it diorama?
I know.
Sorry,
diorama.
off track.
But no, it's a complete layout of the whole town. Plus, if it's like Aladdin, it's the whole castle.
Right, and then like
that.
and then they always have a cast member on there too. That's in quotes driving the boat, and they tell a little. They have like a little like paragraph, a little monologue of what they say. Yeah. I actually do agree with you. It worked in Disneyland because it was all outside. Then they tried to recreate it because it's, it is original. It has history with Walt. So it's such a cool ride in the nostalgia aspect. But they tried to recreate it, and because of the rain, they had to put it inside.
Yeah.
It's completely inside. Mm-hmm. So the facade of it isn't even that good of a facade. The facade in Disneyland, you see it, and it's magical.
Right.
Right? You can just see the white across, and it's awesome. But the one in Disney World, it doesn't work. It's smaller, so that doesn't work for me. And then you said something about it being a big building, and I think that's what I don't like about it, is that when you ride it, it feels like you're in a big warehouse, because you can look up and see the roof. Mm-hmm. Now you can see the roof in like Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff, but I feel like there's so much more to look at around you.
It's disguised.
Right, it's disguised as it, but in Small World, it's not. It's just a giant warehouse, and sometimes like they didn't even put a lot of stuff on the ceiling, except in the I think it's like the last show. They have like the gliders where everything's like
white, where everything's white.
Right. But other than that, it does feel like a giant warehouse that they kind of need more
Yeah.
I agree with you.
To me, if they want to like completely just overhaul it, I would almost say make it a show building. Put a show in it. They canceled the theater for Main Street.
Yeah,
would it be so bad if they just? I mean,
giant theater.
I know nothing about shows, and is that building too big to make a show building? I couldn't tell you, but to me, it's a huge building that if they gutted It's a Small World completely out, I feel like, with Disney Imagineering, they could make it whatever they wanted to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree that it's just not a good ride because, again, they tried to recreate it and it didn't work. It didn't live up to the original.
Right, yeah. And, and the Rapunzel bathrooms are right next to it. Make it a Rapunzel boat ride. I'm down.
Gosh,
I'd be down.
I think,
done.
Because, I mean, those Rapunzel bathrooms are awesome. and they're a bathroom, right?
Yeah, and
they're such a good area to look, and you see all the... Rapunzel needs more than just a bathroom.
If I'm walking through Tomorrowland and I have to use the bathroom, I purposely walk to the Tangled bathrooms, just be like, oh, yeah, well, let's go to the Tangled bathrooms.
That's a long walk. Sometimes when you got to go, you're running to the bathroom through Magic Kingdom.
But it's so cool, and it's just a small glimpse of what they could do inside of It's a Small World, which would be really, really awesome, for that and for Tangled.
Yeah, no, I agree. So is it me now? Am I update?
Yeah, so move on to the updated.
So for updated for the first one, for me is the Tomorrow Transit Authority People Mover. Let me start off by saying that I love this ride. It is a great ride.
Oh, same here.
It's so different because no other ride gives you the views that ride can give you. Mm-hmm. So it already has that for it. When it goes into the buildings, that's where it leads. That's where I get lost. It doesn't have a cohesive story because you have the one, you got the one scene where the robot's being like blasted off, like if that's how people travel. You have the other scene where the lady is getting her hair done, and then you have like the original Epcot. It just doesn't work. And then Space Mountain is completely dark.
Yeah,
I know they kind of had to change that because people were taking pictures and stuff, but put something else in there. Instead kind of change it all and make it all about that original Epcot, like what Walt saw originally for Epcot, because originally he thought People Mover was how we were going to move in the future, right? That's why it's called People Mover, because it literally was going to move people, right?
Yeah, which is awesome.
But it still needs something else to make it a cohesive story and work. And I think if it got that a cohesive story, I think it would be a ride that would actually have a line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like the People Mover a lot. It's definitely a must do. It's one of those easy things to do. Like you're in Tomorrowland, you're like, Space Mountain's a long wait, and Buzz Lightyear can be a wait sometimes. And you're like, it's always a walk on. And if it's not a walk on, Magic Kingdom's packed
right.
that day.
But like if it's not a walk on, it's also like a 5-minute wait that constantly moves.
Right.
So it's really not a long wait if there is one.
And if it's not that busy, you can actually ask to, can I go around again?
And just kind of keep going. And
you're like, I don't know of as many rides as you can be like, can I just go around again?
Right. But yeah, I think there needs to be some sort of changes. And I think if they got that changes, I think it would be awesome. Now, the change for People Mover is not to put rocket rods in. That ride, we all know that ride. They had the Tomorrow Transit Authority People Mover in Disneyland. And Disney had this great idea to get rid of the People Mover there and put in a ride called Rocket Rods that was like kind of, I guess, like test track almost. It used the same track layout, but on these straight sections, it had they kind of made it go really fast. But they couldn't control the speed. Some of the turns, they had to slow down the turn. So it was a boring ride. And then because of that ride, it actually damaged the support beams.
It wasn't meant for it.
Right. It wasn't meant to hold that kind of capacity with all those speeds and sharp turns. So then it damaged the ride.
Yep.
Now it sits empty, just used for lights at night.
Right, yeah. Now, I think where the update comes with this ride is going to lie in the update for Tomorrowland overall. I think it's natural for them to update this ride with the bigger update of Tomorrowland.
Right.
Especially because they're going to have to update it just because of the soundtrack. I mean, the Stitch is going.
Thank gosh.
So they're going to have to update that audio, and all the other changes that could be coming up with Tomorrowland. They're going to have to change it again. They're going to have to change it again to a point where it's like, okay, let's just take 6 months and completely, update it, give it some love.
Right. See, what our problem is when they start this Tomorrowland update, like in the future, I'm scared that they're going to just update the People Mover as the sections go on instead of updating People Mover as a whole. Right, so like when they do Stitch and put Wreck-It Ralph, is that rumored or confirmed?
Yeah,
okay,
rumored.
So if they were to put Wreck-It Ralph in there, that section of the People Mover would be updated to have a different audio.
Yeah,
but they're not going to touch the other audio for rides that are still there. So I think People Mover just needs to be updated as a whole and not section by section. Because if you do it section by section, it's still going to have the very not cohesive story. And that's what I don't like about the ride.
All right. My update is going to be with Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. I do enjoy this ride. I love the competitiveness of the game. It just simply needs an update. Whether they update the scenery in it, update the guns. I mean, you can just go in it and look at all the paint peeling and all of it, and it just needs some major love. And actually, what they're doing in Hong Kong, they actually replaced the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin with Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle, which I would love if they did that. I enjoy Buzz Lightyear. I love the ride, but if they brought in that Marvel presence, which I know that's, I guess, a whole another discussion of them bringing in Marvel, but I know Buzz Lightyear is already an IP from Pixar. If they made that Marvel switch and really updated the ride to go the Ant-Man and Wasp route, I wouldn't be mad at it. But also again, if they just updated, Buzz Lightyear and that, I'd still love it. Not that I'm not going to still ride it when we go back down.
Right, I agree. I mean, even Disneyland does it better because their guns aren't attached to the actual ride. You can pick up the gun and look wherever you want. So that's cool. I think they need to do something with the joystick. And because look at Haunted Mansion. It's an Omnimover. It's the same system. And the car moves how they want it to move. So you're looking at what they want you to look at.
Yeah, and
so if they kind of controlled the joystick for you, I think that would add, because then you got to, especially if you're not talented enough to shoot with one hand and drive with the other, it makes it kind of
It does take
hard.
talent.
Right.
Not that I'm saying, but I have rode it by myself and maxed out both guns.
Ryan is actually saying it with his chest out.
Not that I'm saying,
right now.
But I guess I'm saying, if you're looking for a shooter, let me know.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I don't know about Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know if that fits into Tomorrowland. I mean, with our technology, things are getting smaller, right? Memory cards, the size of them and stuff, and batteries are getting smaller while the power is getting bigger. So I get that. That'd be cool. I don't know if Ant-Man and the Wasp really works. See, again, I think this falls under Tomorrowland not knowing what type of land it wants to be.
For sure,
right?
yeah.
Because, I mean, is Buzz Lightyear, is that the future, or is Buzz a toy? Right? Or is this a big game for them, kind of like Toy Story Mania?
Yeah.
Where this is just a game and it's Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spins or whatever. Or is Buzz Lightyear not a toy anymore?
Is it bringing more IPs? Because Stitch didn't work out too well,
Yeah, right. So maybe not put an IP in it because maybe it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, even with Laugh Floor, and I know we're getting off topic and talking about more of all Tomorrowland, but even the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, I enjoyed it at first because I liked the Turtle Talk with Crush, but now it's
it doesn't have rewritability.
Exactly,
right,
I can skip it.
It's the same jokes story, the same jokes that we've heard for the past however many years it's been open.
Yeah.
Yeah, they Tomorrowland's a different topic. So listen, we need to just
to move. Maybe that'll be an episode of Love It, Hate It, just straight
just land or
Tomorrowland.
something. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So my second one, I was actually gonna put like Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor or whatever, but I didn't want to completely destroy Tomorrowland. So it actually goes to the one you'll love it, and that's Peter Pan's Flight. Hear me out on it. You started off by saying it's not worth the wait. It's not. If it's a 50-minute wait or a 90-minute wait, nobody wants to wait that long for the ride that it is. You said you need to rope drop it, right? So for a rope drop, that's not the type of ride I want to rope drop. I want to rope drop like a big ride that is always crazy packed. I also don't want to waste a fast pass on it. We said that I didn't know about the queue, or I didn't remember at least, because we always have a fast pass.
Right.
So if we go down for a week, sometimes we do park hopper, sometimes we haven't, just price depending sometimes if we want to save money. But if we have that day in Magic Kingdom, we already know what one fast pass is going to be, and that's Peter Pan's Flight. And that's not that good. You know what I mean? That's not a good feeling. If it was a choice that every single year we decided to say, and we said, hey, we're going to do Peter Pan's Flight for the fast pass, is everyone okay with that? Right? But now it's like, well, we kind of want to do the ride because it's a good ride and the nostalgia of it. So I guess we have to use the fast pass to do the ride. So we're not waiting 90 minutes or even a crazy day, 120, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So it's just not worth the wait to me. You also brought up the idea that it needs, that they're rumoring to put the Disneyland version of it in Disney World, which would be awesome. I mean, that's what it is. It's an update for it. So if it got the Disney magic of the towers and all of that, the city aspect, I don't know. It needs so much. Also, the audio animatronics in it are old. They are very old. Oh, yeah. You can tell that they're old. I mean, even at the end where Captain Hook is standing on the gator's mouth, that's original audio from 1953 when it opened. That's how long it's been since it's had an update to this extent. Of course, it had refurbishments and they've had, a bunch of work done, but they just need a big overhaul refurbishment where they close it down for a couple months.
If they could just update it, like this will probably take 35 seconds on their part, but even if they just update the "I'm coming, Captain" at the end, because you can hear that at like the beginning of the ride.
Right, yeah, right.
That audio is so loud.
It's so loud and so old though that they just need to change it, and I just think it needs just a really big refurbishment. That if they put some love and some money into it, I think it could get to the point where it would be worth the 90-minute wait. But as its current state right now, to me, it's just not.
All right. But, if they update it, and that's the rumor for the 50th, to get the same update as Disneyland did, which would be awesome. I already love it, so you can't talk me out of it. But but yeah, so my second update is going to be the Haunted Mansion. And I don't mean it in a bad way at all. I guess the first thing is I would love if they updated it and brought the Hatbox Ghost. They did it in Disneyland.
Right.
And that auto animatronic is awesome.
Absolutely.
Is hands down the coolest.
Yep.
I totally get why they didn't do it, when it first opened, because it was too scary, and it is kind of scary, and for those who don't know, the Hatbox Ghost, the ghost has its head, laughing, and then a split second, it literally goes to a hat box that he's holding, and his face then shows up in that box.
Right, so his face is like in two places at once, and it's flipping back and forth.
Right, yeah. And they did it so, when they brought this animatronic to Disneyland, they did it so well. And I think that's actually, I'm full of rumors today too, a rumor for the 50th that they're going to bring the Hatbox Ghost. And out of all of the 50th rumors that I said today, I think that one is on the top of my list. Also, to update it, I would love if they did the rendition that they do in Disneyland and brought the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay to it,
I've never
from
done that,
like October to December. No, either have I.
Right. I would love to.
And if they did it, I would almost just make a trip just to do that just to see it, because in Disneyland, I've seen videos and pictures, and they do it so well, and the Haunted Mansion now is already. The wait time can get up there, 30 to anywhere to an hour, if not more. If they did this overlay, probably like 90 minutes, for it, it would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I completely agree that the Nightmare Before Christmas rendition would be really cool. I do have a question, since we're kind of on that topic. Is that a Halloween movie or is that a Christmas movie? Because I've never actually noticed.
I always say both.
Both? I mean, I could see both. But yeah, I think it just needs an update. I mean, even that dining room scene, like, it's cool. Like, that dining room scene is how I got into Hidden Mickeys, because of that end table with those 3 little plates. So, like, it's cool. It's an old dining room scene, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It needs
Right.
just an update to make it. I don't know if I want to use the term scarier, because it doesn't necessarily need to be scarier. I don't know. They
Right.
just, yeah. I think it needs a love. I mean, because look at the they did something with the queue, right? They made it so interactive, and
Right.
yeah, it still had, like, in quotes, spooks, but it was still a really cool way to update it, and it made it, more fun, and they still had jokes in it. I was sad to see all the gravestones leave, because, we loved reading them and laughing about them, but there were still jokes in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that sums it all up.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a review, as it helps us improve the show. And as always, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.